Flat
Yeah,
Earth.
because
Why are you talking about flat Earth? It's the dumbest thing ever. Come on.
yeah,
We
it
all
was for
know we
me
live on
as
a
well.
spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum. I mean, we know it, right? We have pictures.
Yeah. So fun. Do you know how many dates I destroyed when I said that I'm into flat Earth?
Well, you know, when we talk about the app, I'm going to show you something that's going to help you in that department.
Oh, great, great. I need that stuff.
All right. So, where do you want to begin?
I was thinking because I live in Sweden, and Sweden is a Christian country, and we are super nice, but I would say that we are pretty naive as a population. So I would start with some kind of presentation, what the hell we are talking about. Are we lunatics, or could it be some kind of, does it make sense what we're talking about? For the people that are completely new to this. And then I have questions from the people that watch my show and stuff like this. So we go a little deeper further on, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just give a quick little summary before people tune out, because I tuned out when people suggested I look at flat Earth. Every flat earther became a flat earther the same way. They laughed, they ridiculed, they refused to watch anything, and then for some reason they actually looked. And that's when you become a flat earther, because people that don't believe in flat Earth think this is what the flat Earth is, a pancake floating in space. That's not what flat Earth is. If this is what flat earthers thought, I would be laughing at them also. This is ridiculous. And we're not a whole bunch of pancakes floating in space. We're not floating in space. Well, what do you mean we're not floating in space? Because they have us in this infinite space vacuum, which is just impossible. Impossible, I call it. So, you know, when you Google flat Earth, you end up with pictures like this. This is ridiculous. No flat earther thinks this. Now, do flat earthers know everything? Absolutely not. We know that we don't know a lot. Globers, you're a glober if you're listening to this and think I'm crazy, think they know everything, but they don't know anything. I know that's crazy. I used to be a glober. We all used to be globers. I mean, Ronnie, how long have you been a flat earther, or at least a globe denier?
It's actually our common friend Ole Dammegård's fault, because I was on he was doing a presentation about the terror attack in Stockholm, and of somewhere it was like 4 hours, and I was completely into this, but somewhere in this he just said something like, if the Earth was round or flat or whatever it is, he said, and I just stuck in my mind, and like, it took me, I think it took at least a half year before I even researched it. What did he even mean with that? Could it even be, you know?
Right.
That's how it started. And then it was like downhill from there.
I was doing a conspiracy podcast about all different types of stuff, like the Ole looks into, you know, Ole is a good friend. And when people started suggesting I look into flat Earth, I'm like, you're absolutely insane. And I would ban them from our social media for even, like, I don't need somebody this stupid following me, right? They want me to look into flat Earth. I'm sorry, there's no help for you. There's no help for you. You think the Earth is flat. You're an idiot. Okay. And that's because this was my view of what flat Earth was. This is mind control. If you Google flat Earth, you end up with the Flat Earth Society, right? President Obama here in the United States mentioned the Flat Earth Society a half a dozen times in his speeches. Why would a president mention the Flat Earth Society? They want anyone looking into flat Earth to go there. Google will take you there. Google images of flat Earth. You're going to get this. Okay, this is all Flat Earth Society nonsense. So what is the flat Earth? Well, the way I describe it is, the Earth that we live on is the basement of the universe. It's the best words I have for it. It's the foundation of the world. It's an extended plane. I say extended because infinite, I don't know what infinite really is. Is it very far? It seems to be very far. We live in this plane, hills and valleys, mountains and depths of the ocean. If you were out in the hills and a heavy rainstorm came, excuse me, heavy rainstorm came, where would the water accumulate? At the top of the hill?
I think it always pours downwards, right?
Yeah, excuse me. It's early in the morning here, and I haven't started talking until just now. All the water accumulates at the bottom in the low spot, in the depression. And if you have a puddle or a pond or a lake, all the same thing, just different sizes, the edge of the lake, the edge of the pond is where? What determines the edge of a pond? They're easy.
Some form of container or
Something where the land is higher than the
land. Yeah.
water. If the land was lower than the water would spill out, right?
Yeah.
So we live in what I call the Antarctic basin. They don't teach you in school that Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Okay? Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Well, that's like they want us to believe that Antarctica is this little ice continent at the bottom of a ball, and it's higher than all of the land.
Have you heard? Do you know if that there is any truth in that this supposed Antarctica is like a brain, the shape of the brain? Have you heard about that?
I haven't, but that's I mean, would that because it's this shape that it looks like a brain? This is not the shape of Antarctica. This is the shape of Antarctica, right? I mean, this isn't exact. This is just showing you large bodies of water at rest lay flat. That's scientifically provably flat, measurably flat, observably flat. Okay. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Don't say, what about a raindrop? Anything bigger than a bucket of water at rest lays flat. The water surrounds all of the islands, all of the continents, but all of the water is surrounded by its container, which is Antarctica. It's the highest land. So this is Antarctica. This is Antarctica. This is Antarctica. It surrounds us. It's off limits. No one's allowed to explore beyond 60 degrees south, which is this pink line. You can't even see Antarctica from there. If you want to spend $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, go there for a couple of days. Yeah, they take you to this peninsula, which is huge, bigger than some countries. And they'll show you some ice. They'll show you some penguins. But nobody's allowed to independently explore the outer space. Yeah. Outer space. Inner space. Outer space.
You can come back to the penguins later on because I saw this interview you did with Owen Benjamin. It's really interesting he's really onto something about the penguins.
The penguin? What did he say about the penguins?
Yeah, that they promote it everywhere. And after I heard that, I started to research my own. I looked at my own VHS cassette. The old ones for my children. You have Pingu, you have Disney, you have Batman. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
he's really onto something there. When I heard it, I started researching it, and my God, he's completely right about it.
There's essentially two videos that have convinced people not to look at the North Pole and the South Pole. One of them, I don't know if they showed it where you guys are, maybe they showed something else, but it was National Geographic about these guys that went to the North Pole with their dog sleds and everything, and it just got rougher and rougher and crevasses, and they were running out of food, and the dogs were freezing to death, and it was windy and snowy and 40 below zero, and then finally they got their GPS, and they're like 500 feet, 200 feet, we're there, and it's like cold and dark and 100 degrees below zero, and then basically that would, and then they had to get back. I'm like, how did they get back? They made it there. Now they got to go back. Like, how's that going to happen? And basically it was to convince you. So in the subconscious of your mind, no one would ever say, I want to go to the North Pole. Right. Yeah. They showed us that in school. That was, the televisions were wheeled into our class, and we watched that in elementary school. The other one is the emperor penguins, how they all huddle together at the South Pole, and it's freezing cold, and they hold their eggs on their feet, and if the egg touches the ground, it freezes and they die, and they go through these just horrible storms and everything. And basically that's to make you realize that you never want to go to the South Pole. Both of those places are lies. They don't want you to know what's going on there, because you would find out you don't live on a spinning space ball flying through an infinite space vacuum. I mean, the idea that we live on a heliocentric ball flying through space is the dumbest thing ever. The dumbest. People think flat Earth is dumb. That's inverted. You believe that, right? To believe that you live on a ball. If you believe the Earth is a planet, you don't even know what you believe. Let me explain. You believe that once upon a time there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. And then all of the rocks turned into balls, and all of the gases coalesced into bigger balls. And because they were bigger, they had more mass, and they could hold on magically to all these other rocks that are orbiting and going in repeating patterns. while the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. 1,000 miles an hour, that's faster than sound. It's orbiting at 66,000 miles in an elliptical orbit where it speeds up and slows down, speeds up and slows down. Okay. And then it's chasing the sun in an elliptical orbit at over 500,000 miles an hour, over 500,000 miles an hour. All of these motions are going on all of the time, and nothing moves. Nothing moves, right? Nothing. You can, I tell people, imagine, people like, well, what about I'm in an airplane? I could drink a glass of water and walk to the bathroom. Well, I say double the speed of the airplane, remove the outer shell of the airplane, and then let me know how your water and trip to the bathroom's going. Okay. Because if you live on a globe, we're not in a closed system. We're on the outside of a spinning water ball in a space vacuum, which is impossible. It's just impossible. Right. I say, get a dinner plate and fill it with water and drive down a road at 100 miles an hour, just 100 on a straight, perfectly smooth road. You might be okay. Now have the driver start turning that car just a little bit. What's going to happen to that water? Is it going to do this?
No.
The idea that we live on a spinning ball is the dumbest thing ever. Dumbest. And they've convinced us to trade in our common sense for nonsense from a guy in a bow tie who lies.
Then they would say that everything, the atmosphere and everything is like follow along with this. But still, there's one, what do you call this, diameter or at the equator, and it's a smaller one. So still, it can't like follow everything.
Right. Well, so it
doesn't make sense at all.
They tell us the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Okay, because for you Globers out there that are defending the ball and thinking I'm crazy, how fast is the Earth spinning at the equator? I don't know. I already told you that. You probably don't even remember. But what's the diameter of the equator? They don't know. We know because we've looked. It's 24,901 miles around. So about just over 1,000 miles an hour would bring you around once, right? It would bring you around once. If you're at the equator, if it's the diameter is just over 24,000 miles, well, if it's going 1,000 miles an hour, it'll once a day is 1,000 miles an hour. But what if you were only a mile from the North Pole? Well, you're going around once a day, but that little circle at the top is much smaller than the bigger circle at the equator. So if you were a mile from the North Pole, how big is that circle? And a lot of flat earthers don't even know this, but it's simple math. If you remember pi, 3.14 miles.
The P.
Yeah. So in a day, in 24 hours, if you're a mile from the North Pole, you've only moved 3.14 miles. That's like an eighth of a mile an hour. Okay. You're going less than a mile an hour. You're barely moving. But if you're on the equator, you're going 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. Here's the problem. All of the air is stuck to the ball. The air, at 40,000 feet above this ball, where do you think it would, if the ball is spinning the way you see it spinning, you would think that the air would kind of lag behind a little bit. The higher up you went, it would kind of lag behind because the higher up you go, the faster that air has to go to keep up with the ball. Well, at 40,000 feet, the air is outrunning the spin of the Earth. Or the non-spin of the Earth, because the Earth isn't spinning. The air is outrunning it by hundreds of miles an hour. Explain that on your ball.
It's interesting because my children, I have a daughter, she's 10. She's completely like everything like natural about it. That what I can see and what I can touch and what I can feel, this is my reality.
Do you homeschool her?
No, but she heard me. She heard me all the days when the dinners and everything. And my son, he's a teenager now, so he's on the verge of moving out. So he think I'm pretty crazy. But I think it's easier the younger you are if you're new to this.
Tell your son I have 3 Bitcoins for him if he can come up with one proof of the globe. 3 Bitcoins, $100,000. That'll get him started in life. He can go put a down payment on a house. All right, 3 Bitcoins. for one proof of the globe? Don't bet he doesn't have one. So where do you want to go from here? Because
I mean, just for example, because I have so many friends that think I'm pretty crazy about this, but if they ask me, you know, the lazy people that doesn't, they just want to have like a quick answer, but what would you say is like the 3 or 5 top reasons to start questioning it? I would say, for example, that we have never ever measured the curve of the Earth, for example. Correct. I would say, for example, the Polaris
star. It doesn't exist. We've measured.
Yeah. So what would you say, like, are the things that they should start to look into, like, if they want to do it like for an hour or whatever?
Well, the thing that got me was that we can see too far. If the Earth is a ball, 24,901 miles around, you can look up the Earth curve calculator, and the Earth curve calculator is 8 inches per mile squared. Most people are like, what the heck does that mean? Simple math. First mile is 8 inches. Second mile, the Earth is curving more and more as you go out. It's not 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, because that would be, we live on a ramp. We don't. It drops off faster and faster. So it's 8 inches per mile square. You have to square the miles. And yes, that is a parabola. After 1,000 miles, it kind of gets off a little bit, but you don't need 1,000 miles. According to globe math, at 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature. Their math, not ours. 66 feet of curvature at 10 miles. Now, you can go to these globe troll debunking sites that are out there to, capture weak minds and help you hold on to your heliocentric ball belief. And they say, oh, no, because if you're looking at something 10 miles away, it's only half of that because they're halfway down one side and you're halfway down the other side. So it's not 66 feet, it's 33 feet. Okay. That's dumb. That's ridiculous. But I'll give it to you because it doesn't matter. Because I said, all right, when I started seeing this, I said, all right, we can see too far. All right. I know that there's a buoy off of my beach that's 11 miles away. I'll round down to 10 to give the ball every purpose, every benefit. I bought $1,000 camera, tripod, a super zoom P900 when it first came out. And I went down to the beach early in the morning when the water was calm and I can't see the buoy. I'm like, it's over the curve. There's no way to see that. It's a 10-foot high buoy. I got down like a foot off the water. I got the tripod down and I'm looking. I zoomed in. Not only could I see that buoy, I could see the surface of the water for dozens of miles beyond it. You do the math on that and you find out there should be hundreds of feet of curvature. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. People say, well, what about boats disappearing over the horizon? Look, there's no boat here. I'm zooming in and all of a sudden right here, watch right here, here it is, there's a boat. This is to do with several things: the angular resolution limits of your eyes, the wave front edge, all the perspective, all sorts of. Watch, I'm going to zoom out. It's like this boat is going away. And watch, it'll disappear from the bottom up. It's not moving. I'm not moving. I'm just zooming out. This is how your eye perceives it. The windows are gone. The boat is gone. And a glober will tell you it's over the curve. Well, if it went over the curve, how am I possibly seeing it? Right. And I'm not zooming over the curve. If the physical horizon is there, like globers want you to believe, I shouldn't be able to see it. For example, if you went down this hallway around this corner and I stayed right here, could I zoom in on you with a telescope? Absolutely not. There's a physical horizon here, a physical edge. I'll flip this over, make it look like the Earth. Yes, the Earth is bigger than this. This is a scale model. So you're over that. I could have the friggin' fake Hubble telescope zoom in. I can't see beyond this physical horizon. This is a physical horizon. We don't see a physical horizon, and the globe trolls have been forced to admit that in debates, that it's an optical horizon, right? So here's another example of us seeing too far. And all these things I'm telling you today, don't believe me. Go verify them yourself. Unlike NASA, where it's you can't verify anything. This is the Leisure France. We're looking out over the ocean. It's a famous viewing spot because Mount Canigou is out here 175 miles away. From this altitude, using globe math, the top of Mount Canigou should be a mile below the horizon. You have to believe that this is a physical horizon. This is an optical horizon. Everything comes together due to perspective and becomes a horizon. These clouds up here are the same height as these clouds over here, just perspective. But a couple days a year, when the sun is on its path in between the two tropics, it lines up with Mount Canigou and it backlights it. The light normally bouncing off of Mount Canigou doesn't have enough power to push through the soup of the atmosphere, and you can't see it. But when the sun backlights the mountain, when it's in line, you can see the mountain. This is the top of the mountain. It should be a mile below the curve, but it's not. It's right there. It's not a mirage. Now, the Glober argument, which is pathetic and ridiculous, is that the mountain is over the curve and the sun is already set. It's just refracting up and stopping right at your eye level. That's dumb. That's ridiculous. That's pathetic. And it's and people will be like, well, it must be because the Earth is a globe. Here's the thing. Our entire heliocentric model is based off of the calculation of the radius of the Earth. Okay, the radius of the Earth is from the center of the Earth to the surface. So my arm is the radius. It makes here's the curve of the Earth, right? The radius. Okay. Mm-hmm. The distances that we are seeing, people say, well, maybe the Earth is bigger. Well, if the Earth is bigger, then the distance to the moon, the size of the moon, the size of the planets, the distance of the planets, the distance to the sun, all of that changes. You change one variable and everything changes. So that negates us ever going to space into the moon. The distances that we can see, even without infrared, you would need a radius. Instead of the radius is 3,958 miles or something like that, less than 4,000 miles. So if the radius is less than 4,000 miles, the distances that we are seeing, if the Earth was a ball, you would need a radius of over 250,000 miles versus the presupposed 4,000. If you don't have R, the radius, no R, no sphere, no solar system, no nothing. It's all based on R, and R is a made-up number.
So then we have, let's see, we have the horizon. We have that we see too far. I would say that that Polaris never moves. Would that be the top 5?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're corkscrewing through space. Every year in just one direction, we're going 4.4 billion miles every year. We never go back to where we were before. But somehow all of the stars remain in the exact same position. If you here in the United States, the pyramids have a shaft that looks up and sees the North Star. But here in the United States, we have a New World Order monument that was built in 1981, I believe, called the Georgia Guidestones. Besides their New World Order nonsense that's written on them, there's a little hole that you can look through. And when you look through it, what do you think you see? You see Polaris. And if you do a little time lapse, you'll see all of the stars spinning around. How is the Earth corkscrewing through space and Polaris never moves from that hole? Never. Ever, ever, ever. And you can say, oh, well, it's so far away, that there's no parallax. Baloney, okay? Baloney, right? 4.4 billion miles a year. It's been up for 40 years. So 40 years times 4.4 billion and no parallax. Meanwhile, NASA says, oh, well, the way we figure out the size of the stars is, in June, we're on this side of the sun and we could see stars that are in line with each other. And then in January or December, when we're on the other side, we could see some parallax. You can see parallax from 186 million miles, but 4.4 billion miles a year doesn't cause any parallax. The stars never change. Every year. Go out tonight, mark where the stars are, like sit in the same spot, like make a little star chart, and then same time next year, same night, same time, 10 years, whatever, go out and look. Every star will be in the exact same position. We don't live in a heliocentric beehive.
When we're talking about these Georgia Guidestones, why do you think that they put them up there?
Yeah, it's a monument to. So, I used to laugh at, oh my God, ancient civilizations, they were so stupid. They had to write things in stone. Well, if there's a reset, which looks like we're going into, the only thing that's going to survive is stone. All of these videos, gone. All CDs, gone. Most books, gone. Well, a lot of, maybe books are the next best thing, but written in stone. So on the Guidestones, look it up. There's in 10 or 12 different languages, there's the top 10 commandments, and one of them is never to let the earth population rise over 500 million again. 500 million? That's a half a billion. They tell us there's like 7 or 8 billion people on the earth. Never let it rise over 500 million again. What do they have in plan? You know,
Do you think it's a coincidence that they raise this monument there, not far from Atlanta and CDC?
it was, they didn't raise money.
We're talking about the population agenda and stuff like this.
It's very interesting. There's so much speculation on what it is, but when we first discovered the guidestones, I mean, we've heard about them for years. We're like, oh, come on, this is crazy. What are you talking about? Well, look what's going on in the world right now. Without saying too much, I don't know. We might be on target for that number. Who knows?
Oh, that's really interesting. I said before that Sweden is a Christian country.
Yeah.
And I have a friend, we talk about this for hours per day because it's so interesting. And I'm not a Christian person in a traditional way or something, but I find it extremely interesting to hear the views of Christians and how, because I can relate to a lot of stuff that they say from the flat earth perspective, sort of. And this is a question from one of my viewers of my channel. Could it be, because since when you have been doing this for a couple of years that I have done now, and you start to see pattern how they work, how they take photos or something, the truth, and they kind of reverse it, or what is called this reversed or invert. Could it be that religion is the biggest form of controlled opposition to hide that there is actually some kind of intelligent design?
I think that all religions there's a good side and a bad side to them, but they've pigeonholed people, and they're grouping them and separating them. They want us separated. In the 1800s, everyone thought it was the Wild West and craziness. No, it was an advanced civilization called Tartaria, a worldwide united civilization. But then in the 1800s, at some point, some cataclysm happened. If you looked into mud floods and Tartaria, it's mind-blowing stuff. And the world was repopulated. Everything was erased. The reset happened. And here we are. And our history, all of it is a lie. So then they divided us up by countries, divided us up by religions, divided us up by sex, by race, by political party, by sports teams, by genders. Now they're dividing genders. Now they're telling us, don't look at anybody, don't talk to anybody. They're dividing, because together we are powerful. Separated, we are less powerful. They don't want us to know how powerful we are, and they use religion to keep us pigeonholed. Are there benefits to all religions? Are there truths in religions? Absolutely, yes. Are they hiding lots of truths from you? Absolutely, yes. So, on my app, there's a button called Biblical Flat Earth, and I recommend anybody, Christian or not, watch those videos, because you'll start seeing how the Bible is a flat earth book. I never lead with the Bible, right? On my podcast, the Flat Earth Podcast, my co-host, Matt, he leads with the Bible, all right? But I don't lead with the Bible because there was a point in my life where I'd be listening to a podcast, guy would be telling great information, whatever, and then he'd mention Jesus, the Bible, and I'd be like, oh, he's a religious kook. And I'm out, because that was my belief at that time, right? But now I understand that we live in a created place. Flat Earth proves a creator. Your journey from there forward on who the creator is and what your relationship is with the creator is your own personal journey. It's no one else's journey. Okay.
So if I simplify the question, could it be that they target the Christian people the most because of that they actually believe in some form of creator?
Well, I didn't believe in a creator, and then it's not about belief. Belief is the enemy of knowing, right? There's a verse in the Bible that says, basically paraphrasing, it says, once you see my creation, the earth, there'll be no denying my existence. Okay. Once you see the creator, there's no denying me. The people, and I use the word people loosely, that are running this place, they hate God. They don't want you to know that there's a creator. They don't want you in a situation where you can't deny the creator. So they put you in a infinite space vacuum in a random universe where you evolve from pond scum. Okay, that's ridiculous, right? They've programmed us into believing, just such nonsense and denying the creator.
Maybe that's a big one. Because we talked about the horizon and all this stuff, and space.
Yeah.
When you tell somebody that space doesn't exist, they look at you like you're from, I don't know, have 5 eyes or something.
Yeah, well, I did that. I did that also. I had, space doesn't exist. How is that possible? Well, we live in a contained system. What's beyond it? I couldn't tell you. But if we live in what I call we live, so here's the thing, and I don't want to say, I try not to pigeonhole us, like, is this how the earth is? Is this all there is? Now, a lot of Christians will say, yeah, this is it. If you read the Bible from page 1, God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. Well, the firmament's the dome. There's so much evidence that this is basically what the world is. But what is beyond it? What is there? Maybe there's other puddles. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe there's 10 of them. Maybe there's 10 bazillion of them. Okay. Maybe there's other worlds, but this is the world that we live in. This is our known world, right? Everything beyond that is the unknown world. Here's a map from Japan, 10 centuries old, printed in the New York Journal, which is now the New York Times. I think it's the New York Journal. Or is that a different paper? I can't read it. And it shows all of these other continents outside of Antarctica. What's up with that? Right? Other people think that maybe it's like this, and there's another sun out here. And these are extra terra, more land, extra territory. So if somebody lived here in the outer space that came to visit, you might want to call them an extraterrestrial, coming from just thousands of miles away and not trillions. A trillion miles is a joke. The closest star, other than our sun, according to heliocentric nonsense, is 25 trillion miles away. 25 trillion miles away. If you were traveling at 1 trillion miles a second, how much time would it take you to travel 1 trillion miles? 1 trillion miles a second.
You lost me.
No. If you were traveling, hold on a second, a mile a second. I'm sorry, I said that totally backwards. If you were traveling a mile a second, that's pretty damn fast. A mile a second. How long before you traveled 1 trillion miles? And you'd be 1/25th the way to the first star. How long would it take you at 1 mile per second? Remember word problems? Come on, we did this in junior high. 1 mile per second. How long to go 1 trillion miles? Take a guess. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
I think it's faster.
No. If you guess it within a week, like if you say, if you say, 6 months, I don't know. How long to go 1 trillion miles if you're going a mile a second, which is super fast. How long? Take a guess. Come on. Win a Bitcoin.
I have no idea.
31,000 years.
Oh.
Okay. If you were traveling a mile a second, 31,000 years later, you would be 1/25th the way to the supposed closest star. Is that ridiculous?
It seems like it seems like a pattern. Yeah, of course.
Say yes.
Math, yeah. But it's like you lost me there for the mathematics for a second.
Wait, before you answer that, let me just say something. The math that I am going to throw at you guys today is the simplest math ever, but they've taught us not to think. They've taught us to memorize nonsense. The shit sorry for swearing, that they taught us in school is ridiculous. It's not learning. If I'm walking 10 feet a second or running, that's pretty fast. In a minute, I would go, well, there's 60 seconds in a minute. 60 times 10 is 600. You can do the math. It's the same thing. A mile a second times a minute, well, that would be 60 miles because I'm going a mile a second. Easy,
Yeah, that's okay.
right? How long for a trillion? 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Just let that sink in. The next time you hear the liars at NASA tell you things are trillions of miles away, you couldn't see anything even a fraction of that distance, no matter how big it is.
A pattern I can see, even if I couldn't count this number directly, but a pattern I see is that they always try to put everything so far away from you as possible. Am I right?
Yeah. So there's a thing called angular resolution of your limits of your eyes. Like here's my phone. Where's my phone? Right here. It's filling the whole screen. Why is it getting smaller? Why is it getting smaller?
Due to perspective?
It's due to perspective. As things go away, they get smaller. So if you look at our sun, if it was right next to the Earth, it would fill the whole sky. Move it 93 million miles away. Bet you didn't know that. That's how far the sun was. 93 million miles away. Not you. I'm talking to your audience. It becomes the size of a coin held at arm's length. Wow, that shrank a lot in that distance. If I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? A lot smaller, but some people say, well, it would be half as small. Okay. Well, now it's the size of a dime, right? And if you double the distance again, it would be even smaller. And you just keep doing that. There's a point where its angular size gets so small, you can't see it. Like if I was holding a human hair right here, you probably couldn't see it because its angular thickness is too small. So if we made the sun 24 times farther than it is, it would be way too small to see. Scientifically provable that you could not see the sun 24 times farther than it is. Probably 3 times farther, but I'm going to say 24 times farther because that's 3 light hours. The distance light travels in 3 hours. Okay. Polaris, the North Star, which we were just talking about, they say it's 46 times bigger. Well, 46 times bigger. So we can do the same math. 46 times farther than 3 light hours is rounding up 6 light days. What's a light day? The distance light travels in 6 days, in a day. So 6 light days away. If Polaris was 46 times bigger than our sun and it was 6 light days away, scientifically provably, you could not see it. Do you know how far they tell us Polaris is? 433 light years away. And you think that you can see that with your eyes? Well, you're not seeing it because it was there you're seeing the light that's been traveling for billions of years. Baloney, but nonsense. Light doesn't travel forever. The angular size got too small. It's just 6 light days away. And then subtract 6 light days from the 433 years of distance. And then you realize you're listening to nonsense. You've traded in your common sense to a guy in a bow tie who lies.
So when I talk at a dinner with my mother about this, and she's Christian, I would say, she's taking this quite maybe you're right, maybe it's flat. But then she would ask me, so what is the reason for it to hide it?
Yeah, the reason, and Christian, this is a good one for Christians. The reason is they want you to believe that you are insignificant, that you are flying through an infinite space vacuum in a, at best, distant God expanded universe, or no God, right? That everything happened by accident. That's what they want you to believe. When the truth of the matter is, you are at the center of creation, at God's creation. You are a piece of God. We are here having an experience with our soul, which I believe is a spark of God within us. We all have God within us. And our goal here on earth is to maintain control of our soul and to be good to others. Don't break natural law. Don't steal. Don't kill anybody. Don't invade their freedom. And that's it. And maintain control of your soul. But many people will sell their souls for, fame and fortune or whatever. And they become nihilistic, and they just become not in honor of this creation. They've just come out for, for themselves. If everybody took care of the person to their left, the world would be a whole different place, right? They don't want you to know that. So why the lie? They're hiding free energy, hiding the creator, hiding your spirituality, hiding more land, hiding more resources, hiding scientific knowledge of what's in Antarctica, hiding that you are at the center of the universe, hiding that you are special. Take your pick.
That one is really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's more, hiding more land. Think about it. There's a story called the Iron Republic. And it's a story about basically some senator took a boat, when he retired and found an opening in Antarctica and ended up in the outer space, lost at sea. And then he came across this land and found a civilization there, and it was advanced. This was in the late 1800s. It was written in, I think, in 1901 or somewhere around there. And he's talking about all of these people there that had flat screen TVs and computers and hovering electric cars and all sorts of stuff some stuff that we don't even have right now. And the story was like where these people came from. They came from inner Earth, the Middle Earth. And they went to the outer space because they didn't like the tyranny that was going on in the 1600s. And so they moved out away from the tyranny. Well, the people that were left here that know the truth of this world, they lied to us, and they have us trapped here, trapped in our own minds, trapped on a spinning ball. The spinning ball is a prison for your mind.
Yeah. So let's say that we have some people now that start to investigate about flat Earth, and they maybe see that it's at least worth checking out. Yeah. And they see that the reason why they hide it, or at least what could be the reason. The next step. This is also a question from a viewer from my channel. Assume that people have photos, films, everything to actually prove the existence of whatever is on Antarctica and the North Pole. How would you go on to show the public that they should actually believe it? How would the people react to politics,
open up Antarctica
science,
to exploration? If you want to prove the Earth is a globe, science is like, if they talked about it in Congress here, how can we stop this information? And they use flat Earth as an example. What? I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's the high priest of scientism spokesman, he said he will never talk to a flat earther because it's not worth his time. That's a lame excuse. Well, that's like, they're not going to talk to us because he can't, because if he does, he will be destroyed. So, if you want to prove the Earth is a globe, it's very, very easy. Antarctica is about 12,000 miles around, according to the globe, right? So you get two airplanes, you fly over here, right? You get people. You and I will go on there. We'll get Neil on there. We'll get Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie. We'll get some other scientists. We'll get some globers, some flat earthers. We'll all get on these planes. You fly about 1,000 feet in the air and just follow the coast. So everybody can look out the left window and see the coast. And get the other plane, fly this way. Everyone can look out the window and see the coast. Plane flies about 500 miles an hour, 550 miles an hour. About 9 hours later, about 6,500 miles later, both planes should meet over here. Game over. Earth is a globe. Okay? Not going to happen because it can't be done. Because the last person to try to do that was Captain Cook. He went 60 to 70,000 miles on his journey around, because remember, the equator's right here, right? And the equator is only 24,000 miles around. On a ball, it should get smaller and smaller and smaller as you go out, but it doesn't. It's bigger. Many accounts of ships go, every day they're out of reckoning by 20, 30 miles. They're like, how the heck? They're measuring and they're like, wait a minute, we're not where we're supposed to be. It's because they're going a greater distance. The only way to really check where you're going is GPS or measuring on land. And what land are you going to measure on out here? And GPS is run by the liars at NASA.
You mentioned before about this Tartaria, for people that don't know what that is. But you said it was some kind of civilization, and we were like united, sort of. If you explain
there
it
was
short,
an advanced civilization worldwide. I mean, you look, everyone's familiar with the pyramids at Giza, but there's pyramids in China all over the world, and they're all lined up the same way. They're all on these ley lines. It's amazing. There's all this architecture all over the world that we can't figure out how they built it. It's way beyond what we can do today, but it's worldwide. In the middle of the Amazon, there's cities buried in the Amazon. Cities at the bottom of the ocean? What's going on? What aren't they telling us? There's buildings. Go look at like the Taj Mahal and all these other buildings. There's buildings that were supposedly built when people had horses and buggies, right? With our world's biggest cranes and our best craftsmen, we couldn't build the stuff that they built back with when they supposedly had horse and buggies.
I mean, all these Capitol buildings and stuff like this in the States. When do you think that they built it? How old are they?
Yeah, they were here when we supposedly got here. There's a picture of I think it's a Capitol building, whatever, that was being excavated, and there's a whole building below it, underground with columns and everything. There's all of these buildings that are built on top of buildings, and you don't know that there's cities below cities. So you watch stuff on mud floods. Let me bring up my app because I'll show you where to find this information. Here's the issue. Here's the thing. Google Flat Earth, Google and Tartaria, you're going to get fed what they want you to see. They don't want you to see what I'm going to show you, right? So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And it will show you all of the, like, if you want to find out what's going on with Flat Earth, just check out the app. And every day there's a new video right here, featured video, and you tap it and watch the daily video every day. Here's the challenge I have. I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe, but you have to watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, you should know that the Earth is a globe. I mean, it's flat, but if you still think it's a globe, hit the question mark button, and up comes all the questions you're going to ask. What about seasons? What about eclipses? Why the lie? If you click why the lie, great one. Up comes a playlist that they don't want you to see. These videos will show you why the lie and how it's flat and everything else. They don't want you to see that stuff. You might be able to find it online, but it'll probably take you 500 hours to maybe find 2 or 3 hours of good content. If you hit the web button, the middle button there, up comes more resources. One of the greatest videos right now that's out is this series here, The Lost History of Flat Earth. It's on.
I just watched it, and I can honestly say that is probably the best series I ever seen in my life.
And listen, when people sent it to me, well, a couple people sent it to me before I saw it, and I'm like, oh, 5-hour video? Are you kidding me? I have a hard time. I was like, right now, like, I'll watch long videos because I'm already in, but before I'm like, get out of here. My YouTube channel, DITRH, right here, is all my videos are under 5 minutes, or most of them under 2 or 3 minutes. And it's because I understand how hard it is to get people to watch something. Oh, I'll watch a 2-minute video, and you watch my video, and then you watch another one, then you watch another one, then you're addicted. But I said, all right, this 5-hour one, it's 7 parts. I said, I'll just watch it 1 chapter at a time. And I watched 10 minutes, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I just kept going. And then I watched another 10 minutes, and then I watched the whole thing. And then I watched it 4 more times. Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. It was so much information. I just start from the beginning again.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah. It's and normally I watch stuff at double speed. I watch this one at regular speed. Okay. Right. So tons of stuff there. Bottom right, mud floods, Tartaria, right? This is a picture right here of the Transcontinental Railroad. It wasn't built. It was excavated. It was here before we got here. Okay. There is so much stuff in there. It will blow your mind. If you click that button, just bring food and water and call your boss. Tell him you're not coming in for a couple weeks. All right. Tons of information. Our interview will be right up here under interviews. I was talking about the book, the Iron Republic. Great resource to find books in here. The Iron Republic. Another thing we'll get into is the emergency landings. There was just
I just have to say, when you show this, because I was searching for this Iron Republic before, and when I see this submarine on, that makes me that really got my attention, because my grandfather came from after the Second World War from Poland with a submarine to Sweden.
Yeah. So the Iron Republic, it's a great book. You can also listen to it's read online on if you can probably find it on YouTube yourself, but it's linked in the app. Great book. And I recommend people that are, if you're into this, if you're awake to this, start buying books, because I don't know how long the internet's going to be here with access. So books are going to be the way that we pass on knowledge.
And the emergency landings there, that's really interesting.
Yeah, when I jump out of the app, I'll show you a couple emergency landings. There was just another one that happened to one of the crew members who had, the thing stuck in their arm recently, and they had an issue. They had to land.
The salvation.
Again, yes. Again, proving that the Earth is flat. Tons of other resources, different languages, playlists. It shows you, I got resources in images here. Like my favorite is, this. Supposedly we went to the moon in that. What is that made out of? Is that made out of titanium, or is that made out of paper mache, cardboard, curtain rods, and Scotch tape and tinfoil?
I always thought about how people can believe in this. And I think the reason they still believe it is because it's so fucking stupid. So they can't even comprehend that they were fooled about it.
Right.
That's why they still believe in it.
Yeah, they can't even fathom the lie. It's too big. Tons of resources in here, lots of the slides that I use. So if you're a flat earther and you're trying to talk to people, break out the app, pull up the pictures, and then they'll start to see. And it's literally the best way to wake people up. It has tons of other stuff. I was talking about the winds. If I go to the winds map and I go to 40,000 feet, those white and pink winds there, those are going 200 to 300 miles an hour faster than the Earth is spinning. The Earth is spinning to the east. Well, how are those winds outrunning it? And look how beautiful they are in that pattern. This is the actual pattern, rather than they show us the winds go up and down, in this big crazy sine wave on the globe, but lay that out on a flat Earth. These are the current winds right now. Okay. Again, so for those of you that are new, the sun is the hour hand. It's not on the hour hand now, because here in the United States we have daylight savings time, so they're lying to us about the time, basically just to throw off our natural clock. The sun will lap the moon every 28 days. So right now there's a close to a full moon, and you'll see that the sun is just starting to catch up to the moon, and the moon will start waning. And so the moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. Okay. There used to be 13 months of 28 days, but they hijacked that also. If I turn on the stars are moving slightly faster than the sun. So right now we're coming out of Cancer, and the sun will migrate into Leo, and it'll work its way through there over the next month. And so the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. And the seasons happen. We have our summer when the sun is here over the Tropic of Cancer. Now it's on its way back out to the Tropic of Capricorn. So we're here in the Arctic region, and the sun, what is the sun doing if you're in the middle? If you're in the middle in the Arctic, what's the sun doing? It's arcing around you, right? If you're out here in the Antarctic, what's the sun doing? It's antarcing away from you. It doesn't go around you. It comes towards you and it antarcs away. So the Antarctic has the sun antarcing, and the Arctic has the sun arcing. Very simple. Does a whole bunch of other things. And one other feature, you're going to love this, right? How many flat earthers do you have near you? How many people do you know in your local area that are flat earthers?
I plan to tell you, just the people that start to ask questions since we did the first episode, I would say it's at least 20, I don't know,
So
25 people or something in my near,
so
friend zone.
in the next week or two, I'm releasing a new feature on the app, which is I call it Meet Flat Earthers. And basically, you hit the button, up comes the Google map. It shows you where all the people that have the app are. Now, wait a minute, that's
Cool.
surveillance, or it's personal, um, you can turn it off and then you're gone and everyone else is gone. No problem. You can turn it on and say, city center me. Just put my dot in the center of whatever city I'm in. Don't show them exactly where I am. That's fine if you're paranoid. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching you. Um, so it'll put you at the city center, or you can say, show my exact location. So let's say I'm out and about. Let's say I come to Sweden and I'm by myself, I'm backpacking around, and I was like, you know what? I want to go to the local pub. I could turn on my app and go, huh, there's two flat earthers over in the so-and-so pub. And I can go in and I could tap their dot and I can message them. It's like, hey, I'm the guy with the gray hat on at the end of the bar. I'd love to say hi. Come over and say hello. Bam, done. Right?
Great. I need
Now,
this app.
this feature is going to have babies born, right? People are going to meet, people are going to fall in love, and people are going to have babies. And so, by the way, the first person that has a baby because of that feature has to name their kid the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. I'm sorry, but that's the rule.
Great.
So,
Uh, a more philosophical, personal question. Since I became what just commonly known as a flat earther, I don't know. I don't even know what I am, because my world is like shattered every week with new information. But
you can call yourself a true earther or a ball denier, because guess what?
I don't like
Earth
the
is
word
flat,
denier.
sure. Do I
I don't
know
want
what
to
this
deny.
is? We might live in this toroidal field where we're on a flat plane in the middle of a toroidal field. That makes a lot of sense to me. It might be what I call a physical simulation. I don't know. But in the physical world that we're in, with the physical tools that we have, we can measure it's flat and it does not move. So, yeah, I'm a flat earther.
The thing that happened to me is that that has the quality of my life has improved so much. It's
Huge.
beyond. It's beyond. It's almost that I think that could it even be this? Is it something
You're
else? That is
with
how
truth.
big it is for me. Yeah.
You're resonating with truth. They've done everything. This is all about vibration and resonance and everything. We are part of the earth. We are connected to the earth. We're not like, if you believe, your beliefs create your reality. If you believe you're on an infinite tiny speck flying through an infinite universe, lost out of control, where an asteroid could take you at any moment, well, your energy is all over the place and you're wasting your energy. Then when you are at the center of creation, you are part of this earth, you have a piece of God within you, you're honoring the creation, and your vibration rises. Just go outside for a moment. Go outside, or inside, doesn't matter, and sit down and meditate for a second, and then imagine all of these motions. You're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting, speeding up, and slowing down. You're chasing the sun, and that entire system's moving sideways at over 1,000,000 miles per hour. Imagine all that stuff. You're gonna feel dizzy. You're not gonna be able to think. Your mind's gonna be all over the place. Then clear that off, get a drink of water, go out and say, okay, I am at the foundation of the world. I am at the center of the world. I am, this is what I want. I am on the foundation of the earth. It does not move. All of the luminaries in the sky are circling in perfect order above me. And that you're on this solid foundation, and then you'll feel your energy that will rise. Your energy will rise, will start lifting, and you'll start feeling better, and you'll start being centered, and your thoughts will start working. Everything starts working. When I discovered the earth was flat, my life was pretty good. It's so much better right now. I also had what I thought was the American dream. I, went to college. I worked in corporate America. I left corporate America. I started my own company. I was making fantastic money, had lots of free time. I was like, I've got it all. I've got a good girl. I got kids. I got everything. All as well. And then I walked away from it all to talk to people like you about this, right? In these crazy times we're in, there's so many people that are like, oh my God, the world's horrible. It's only because they think the world is horrible. The only problem in the world is in your imagination, right? The only control these governments control, ment is the mind. The only mind control they have is in your imagination, right? So
Yeah.
they have you imagining nonsense. They have you not honoring God's creation. They have you just totally laughing at it. They're laughing at us. They tell us everything that's going on. And then we're just, most people are just too stupid to realize it.
Yeah, or too lost to
Too
realize it.
lost. Yeah, lost in space, spinning out of
It's a
control.
better,
How well can you
yeah.
make a decision if that's the foundation of your world? The foundation, I am here. I am connected to the earth. Everything always works out. It's amazing. Amazing.
It's an interesting expression that time and space does not exist.
Correct.
That was the best answer of that question I could ever imagine. It was really, yeah, you put the right
Thanks.
on the spot. David, I'm so honored to have you for the second time here, and I got some more answer, and I'm even a little more happier and even more educated after this hour.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, he's just here trying to sell an app." If you knew the money I was making at my old job, this isn't about money. I walked away. I left bags of money on the table. That's fine. This is about waking up the world. We're making a difference in this world. In all of the craziness that's going on right now, if you don't know who you are, where you are, what you are, or the power that you have, you're giving away your God-given gift. And so, I woke people up to many other deceptions in this world, and they just go right back to sleep. You wake someone up to this, look at you. You can't stop thinking about this. When's the last day you have not thought about flat Earth?
Oh, I don't know. But
there will be no day. There will be no day ever. So just get used to it.
And one very interesting thing is that even if my children hate what I talk about, at the dinner table, they at the same how do you say this in even if they hate what I'm talking about flat Earth, they actually see that I'm a happier father today than I was before. Which affect them as well. So it's really interesting.
You can do fun things with kids. Like what motivates your kid? Like, does he? I don't know how old your kids are. Like, does he need a car? Does he want a toy? Does he want money? Just offer them these things for a proof of the globe. Just say, hey, proof. You think the Earth is a globe? Show me one, and I'll buy you a car. Right? You can offer them anything because there are none. There's none. Right? For your listeners only, I'm offering 100 Bitcoins. Okay? 100 for one proof of the globe. Okay? I don't want to make the offer so big, like, oh, that's never going to happen. Whatever you want, just prove the globe. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And as you said it perfectly. Your life is so much better when you understand where you are, when you understand, what this place is. All of this tyranny would be over tomorrow.
It's like a piece. Everything feels, imagine even problem is getting smaller,
Imagine if this video goes viral and 7 billion people watch it tomorrow. 7 billion, right? The whole world watches it, okay? I don't even believe there's 7 billion people, but whatever. And everyone goes, all right, you know what? They're right. Government is nonsense. We're going to ignore the government. And the government comes out, everybody must do the following. And everyone's like, ha, it's over. They're done. They're finished. They have no power. There's nothing. If we don't listen to them and do what they say, they have no power. If everyone would just wake the F up, take back your power, live your life, help the person on your left or the right, okay? And the world would be an amazing place. Tataria would reemerge.
My last quick question: how fast is this happening now? Because if I just compare our first show to the second show, it's like just in my friend zone.
There's
like
so many people waking up to it. The Globers will tell you flat Earth is dying. You look at the Google searches; they've gone way down. Well, that's because they've changed the algorithm. They don't want you finding it, right? It's ridiculous. So How fast is it waking up? People are waking up so fast. We're having conferences. We're having a conference here in South Carolina in October. It's called Flattoberfest. It's going to be amazing. More and more people come every time. And this app, Friend Finder, really going to show people. And then you know what happens when you bring two flat earthers together? They make more flat earthers. They bring their friends in. Okay, they get married. They make flat earthers. Actually, make them. Okay, they do all sorts of stuff. So this is getting to the tipping point, and the elite are going to try to flip the table over to stop it. They're going to try to stop any awakening. We're going into what they call the Great Reset, and it doesn't have to happen if people wake up. They can't do it without us letting them do it with our minds. So just say no to everything. That's all you can do. Well, what can I do? Guess what you can do? You can say no and live your life. Do it.
So it's afternoon, Friday afternoon here in Sweden. I'm gonna go out and enjoy the rest of the day in a way I wouldn't do without people like you, David.
All right, that's definitely. And if you watch the mud flood stuff and the Tataria stuff, and watch John Levy, another great channel, JONLEVI. You'll never be able to walk in nature again without going, oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Wow, I thought those were just rocks. Oh my God, right? Yeah. The world is not what you think it is. The rabbit hole is so deep that it's amazing. Amazing. So
yeah, everything with the trees and North Pole. And
check out my app. If you're a flat earther, share the app with your friends, family, strangers, share it with everybody, buy it for them, give it to them, just send it to them, whatever you can do to help them wake up, because having awake people around you is the most powerful thing. And if everybody just did that in a month, the whole world would be awake. Okay. So that makes a difference. You can find me at the flatearthpodcast.com. We haven't been doing a lot of episodes, but if you haven't heard them, you're looking for some audio, the Flat Earth Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and my YouTube channel, which is linked in the app, DITRH, just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Lots of short videos there. But the best way is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Be careful on Android. There's a knockoff by the same name. I think it's free, or maybe it's $2. Don't send me an email telling me my app sucks, because that's not my app. Mine is by Blue Water Bay. You can just scan this barcode, or you can just go to the flatearthpodcast.com. The link is there. It's the highest rated app in Android store and the App Store. You need an iPhone 6.6 or better, or an iPad, and you need Android 8.0 or higher. Don't email me yet when you see this, looking for the Flat Earth Friend Finder feature that's coming in 1 or 2 weeks.
So if I will not be able to make a baby with this name you said, at least I think you should have a Vice beer or something named after you.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. What else? Anything else?
No, I'm super happy with this, and I'm gonna upload this directly so everybody can see this this weekend.
All right. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, David.
All right, man.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.